What happens when a late-night television experiment decides that immortality and justice belong on late-night TV? Out of a failed pilot movie, a different version of the same idea began to form, built less on fangs and more on the hope of redemption. So how did this unusual concept become a cult series that fans fought to keep alive even after the networks moved on? Let's find out. This is the history of Forever Knight.
Preyed on humans for their blood.
In 1989, a television movie titled Nick Knight was created by James Parriott and Barney Cohen. Rick Springfield played the lead, a vampire working as a detective in Los Angeles while searching for a cure for vampirism. Farhad Mann directed it, and the film mixed supernatural ideas with police procedural elements built on familiar vampire mythology. The idea behind the movie was to use it as the launchpad for a new show, but CBS never moved forward with it, and the project was put on hold. Usually most ideas end there, but this one didn't stay buried. A few years later, the concept returned. The creators reworked the material and pitched it back to CBS. CBS eventually picked up the new version and placed it in its Crimetime After Primetime late-night lineup, filled with crime shows like Silk Stalkings, Tropical Heat, Wise Guy, and a few more. It wasn't really a primetime placement, but it kind of suited where they put it, a show set mostly at night, airing in a late-night time slot. The story still continued to follow Nick Knight, an 800-year-old vampire, but now working as a homicide detective in modern-day Toronto. His character this time carried centuries of guilt and wanted to atone for the lives he had taken. Geraint Wyn Davies didn't just walk into the lead. CBS initially turned him down. Series creator James Parriott didn't agree. He wanted Davies in the role, so he pushed back. He put Davies in fangs, filmed a bit of test footage, and sent it to the studio. Once they saw it, the answer changed. Davies became Nick Knight. John Capellos came back and reprised his role from the original TV movie as Nick's partner, Detective Donald Skanky. Rounding up the remaining cast was Catherine Disher as Dr. Natalie Lambert. Nigel Bennett became Lucien Lacroix, Deborah Duchesne played Janet Ducharme, and Gary Farmer appeared as Captain Joe Stonetree. Together, they formed the core of the world Nick lived in. A steady lineup of guest stars also came through the series. Carrie-Anne Moss, Christina Cox, Judith Scott, and many more appeared across the show's run.
He was brought across in 1228.
Forever Knight's music was shaped by composer Fred Mollin. His work gave the series a sound that matched its tone. The 1989 pilot leaned on music which made it feel lighter. Once the show became a series, that music approach was gone. Mollin's score replaced it and helped the world of Forever Knight feel more darker and more serious. Also, the score didn't fade into obscurity once the episodes aired. It was released twice on CD, and Mollin's music wasn't limited to a handful of tracks. Fans were able to experience parts of the show without needing to be in front of the screen. When the series was released in 1992, it didn't turn into a rating success, but that didn't match what was happening with the audience. The people who did notice it reacted immediately. One viewer wrote to the Los Angeles Times and called it one of the most entertaining horror dramas they had ever seen, asking CBS to never cancel it. What caught most viewers wasn't just the idea of a vampire detective, it was the struggle inside him and the way the show handled it. Early fans talked about how the scripts didn't just throw in references to literature, history, art, and music. They used them with purpose and made the story feel like someone was actually thinking about what they were showing. They also talked about the writing, the acting, and the choices the show made that didn't look like anything else airing at that time. Their reactions made it clear that Forever Knight had built something its viewers valued. They didn't see it as a typical police drama. They treated it like something separate, something that stood on its own. The show also went on and earned 14 Gemini Award nominations during its run. It won once when Nigel Bennett received Best Supporting Actor in 1996.
Is this what you want to be?
Forever Knight wasn't filmed in Hollywood. It was filmed in Toronto, Canada, and the show had to start again before it even began. A new pilot was shot with the new cast, and the original movie with Rick Springfield was kind of left behind. The money was tight from the start. The crew worked around it using lighting and camera tricks to imply the supernatural because there was no budget for big visual effects. Most of the filming happened at night. The actors later said their schedules were horrid and it showed in their exhaustion behind the scenes. When the episodes finally reached television, nobody saw the same version. Canadian stations ran fewer commercials. Full scenes played there that featured extra moments between Nick and Natalie that US audiences never saw. In Europe, early episodes included brief nudity. Then, CBS cancelled the entire late-night block and Forever Night disappeared with it. The show was gone, but fans mounted a letter-writing campaign that helped the show's return, but it took more than a year before anything happened. When it came back, it wasn't on CBS, it returned in syndication, and that return changed a few things. Season 2 moved Nick and Dawn out of the 27th precinct and into the 96th. That change brought new cast. Natsuko Ohama joined the show as Captain Amanda Cohen. New sets were built also for the change. The precinct, Natalie Lambert's apartment, Lacroix's radio booth, and the Raven nightclub. Some of those sets weren't even finished when filming began. Crews kept working behind closed doors while scenes were already being shot. Season 2 was supposed to be the end of the series. The only reason it didn't was again because fans stepped in. A campaign pushed hard enough that Forever Night came back for another season, but the return came with more conditions. The show now moved to the USA Network and the Sci-Fi Channel. USA aired the new episodes first and Sci-Fi aired them afterwards. The show didn't return the same way it left though. Skanky was killed off with Captain Cohen while transporting a prisoner from Toronto to Edmonton. The third season also changed the tone. Younger characters appeared and the atmosphere started to shift. Halfway through the season, the USA Network dropped the show and Sci-Fi finished airing the remaining episodes.
Now he wants to be mortal again.
The show did not continue past its third season. Before the network issued a public statement, executive producer James Parriott confirmed that the series would not return past its third season. The fans reacted immediately, hoping to reverse the decision before the holiday break ended. They sent letters, organized, and tried to show that the audience was still there. But the effort failed. The cancellation stood. The series might have ended, but the audience didn't step away from it. They continued talking about the world it created and what they believed the show still had left to explore. They wrote stories that continued where the show stopped. Entire seasons were imagined and mapped out. Characters who were gone on screen lived on in scripts written by viewers who refused to accept the final version of events. One of those efforts was called FK4. This wasn't just a loose collection of ideas, it was formatted like a real continuation of the series, picking up from the end of season 3 and ignoring the final episode. Fans didn't just discuss the show, they organized mailing lists and produced large amounts of fan fiction. Also, filming sites became points of interest for people who wanted to see where scenes had taken place. Auctions were also created, and the proceeds were used to put pressure on decision makers connected to the show. Sadly, these campaigns didn't result in any new episodes, but they kept the property visible and demonstrated that there was still interest in it. The series also influenced later productions that used similar ideas. The concepts didn't remain exclusive to Forever Night, and the later shows adopted parts of that approach, whether intentionally or not.
To repay society for his sins.
Forever Night was released on DVD by Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. Season 1 arrived as Forever Night The Trilogy Part 1. Season 2 followed as The Trilogy Part 2, and the final release, The Trilogy Part 3, completed the set. Each part included the full run of episodes for that season. A few years later, Mill Creek Entertainment released a complete box set containing all the episodes. This made the entire series available in one package without relying on reruns or individual season sets. Now, for viewers who want to add Forever Night to their collection, the complete box set is the best way to go. Now, I've added a link in the description and there should be a card popping up on screen to help you check it out. So, answering our initial question, Forever Night survived because people wouldn't let it go. It didn't become the next big network hit, but it found an audience that decided it mattered, and that's why it's still remembered today. Next, we're heading towards a show where crime, charm, and confidence all come together, But until then, why don't you check out our previous video on Sledgehammer.
Trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Thanks for watching, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.